Esta de 1800. Ah, 1900.
Uh-oh. That was the doors closing. We're messed up now.
Everybody can get off the train and meet me right up here. Okay, folks, do I have everybody
Birthday here, and we had to have a mine inspection.
where we're heading is what is called a stope. The stope is simply defined as an area that has been mined out or is being mined out. This is the original and first stope in Bisbee. There are thousands of them. This is also the smallest one. We have them that are hundreds of feet high and thousands of feet across. And I'll tell you why that it is shaped this way and why it exists when we can get upstairs. You go ahead now, there's 36 steps. If you can't do 36 or don't want to, you want to stay down here, my partner will stay with you, otherwise let's head upstairs. Hey, this is man-made, cut by man. I'll show you the method that they used to cut it. When they started mining here, they discovered the ore on the outside of this mountain about 1877. They found, what they had found was lead and silver. So they started in following the vein of silver, but when they cleared the brush off the front for the purpose of starting the mining following the vein of lead, they also found copper. When they got to the point where we're at right now, they realized what they really had was copper, that it would be a copper mine. We did produce 6 major metals. We are a copper mine, but we produce gold, silver, lead, zinc, and magnesium. All came out of this mine. And it's really unusual to have that many minerals associating. To have a couple associating, maybe 3, is pretty common. but to have 6 of them in quality and quantity enough that they were worth mining, that was quite unusual. But if you'll, right up here, where I'm circling with my light, you see the blue area. That is copper. When you look over at your mine, don't worry about it. We'll recover it later, that's all right. When you get in here, and they got in here and they started mining, well, in the mining industry, the top is called the back, the sides, or the ribs. If you look along the back and along the ribs of this structure, you'll see lots of spots of blues and greens and reds. That's the outer boundaries of this body of copper. This copper does come in these large masses or bodies. This one actually goes 33 feet below us. So when they mine this out, you're in a real hard limestone. When you mine all of this out, you leave this behind. Now if you're in soft ground, you put wooden structures up, they're called square sections, and you backfill them so that you re-solidify your ground. And that way you also don't have to take the waste out. All you're taking out is the ore. Now if you look right over up in this area, you see this gentleman up here. That is called a raised miner. Truly he's not a miner. Because his job is to go overhead. He's not mining out ore, but he goes 100 feet overhead. He goes straight up, vertical shafts. That's what he builds. He's going 100 feet up to or through another body of ore. Then they'll establish vertical lines coming off of that for the purpose of mining. Now if you notice in this particular body of ore, there's more than one level of tunnel comes into it. Because in the copper, our tunnels are our highways. We didn't mine out ore and leave a tunnel. That's what you do in copper and silver. You don't do that on gold and silver. You don't do that when you're doing copper. But you come into a body of ore once you find it. You want to come in at the top, side, and the bottom. And depending on how large it is, you may have more than just 3. This body has got about 20 crosscuts per tunnel coming off of it. Most of them you can't see, but they're here. You come in, you set up, you clear out underneath you. It's called cut and fill mining. You blow it out, tunnel it out, blow it out, and then you blow above you and blast it down and it falls to you. All that out, you repeat the action. So what you can figure, when they first came in here, they came through a tunnel right up here. When they first came through there, they were at the very top of this ore body. And so now then what you do, you get into this section, and from then on you come in at different levels. But if you look right back over here, back where this raised miner is, you see the ladder. That ladder is how he gets up there. Everything he does, the machine he's got is about 220 pounds. Plus he has water lines, air lines that goes to it. All of his tools have to go up there with him. And so he's responsible for that. He's the best paid miner. He gets paid for doing 6 foot overhead a day. Anything over 6 feet, he gets paid $100 per foot. So he is the best paid miner. Now, the way this stove was cut, though, it was different. Because it was before the days of these pneumatic drills that you see over here. But this is the way you'd start it. You got yourself a starter chisel and a 4-pound single jack. You want to go into this mountain about 4 feet before you blast. In a 10-hour shift, you're going to drill as many holes 4 feet deep as what you can. Blast it and have time to take it out. The way you do that, you start with this small one. You're going to strike it as hard as you can, turn it quarter turn, strike it, turn it, strike it. You do that until you've done what we call collar the hole. It's about 6 to 8 inches deep. You want to turn it so the steel doesn't get stuck, and you make a bigger hole by turning it. Once you're in there about that far, you're going to get serious. I told you you wanted to go 8 feet deep. Well, this particular one's about a 20-inch steel. And you're going to get serious. You go to a 28-pound double jack. Now that it's a 2-man job, got the man you call the shaker. He holds the steel. He can never let go of the steel. When it's struck, he has to hold it. As soon as it's struck, he turns it a quarter, wait for the next strike. Turn, strike, turn. Your striker, meanwhile, is coming back here. He comes around, he strikes as hard as he can, comes right back in, strikes it. Every time it's a turn, as he's striking, it's going to be a turn. The record in Bisbee by miners was 190 strikes a minute. Then he slowed down to 180. So that, and his shaker had to hit that thing, every time it hit, he'd turn it. Talk about carpet tongue.
See you later, Johnny. All right, we'll be there.